And this ovary has been obtained from a kitty cat. Look at the germinal epithelium.
God bless you.
This is the germinal epithelium. These are the primordial follicles. You can see a primary follicle here. It's a pretty late primary follicle. We have secondary follicles. Like this is a secondary follicle showing the antrum, but the gamete is missed in this section. But I have, this is a secondary follicle, and you can see the gamete. This is a secondary follicle. You see this is antrum. This is the space. Now, first of all, we have to learn about the primordial follicle. And they are really beautiful. And let me see here. This magnification, you see here, these are primordial follicles, very early primary follicle. And here is the late primary follicle, a very early secondary follicle. You can see the space already. This is the gamete. These are the granulosa cells. And of course, this will look much better. This region, this is the gamete, female gamete. If you recognize this as Graafian follicle, then this must be secondary oocyte, not primary. Let us go back to, primordial follicles. This has been magnified about 800 times. So this is a very small structure. The whole structure here, whole, is a primordial follicle. What you see here, this is the nucleus of the primary oocyte. This is the cytoplasm of primary oocyte. And look at the periphery. These cells are the follicular cells. Follicular cells.
And then are those collagens?
There are collagen fibers.
Fibers.
You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, there are collagen fibers. Don't have to worry. This is a primordial follicle. These are all primordial follicles. Just a minute, because it is. I'd like to get to. This one is good. Come on. With the slightest bump. Where did that go? Okay. These are the follicular cells, and this is the primary oocyte. I did get a good one, and then, this one. There you go. One primordial follicle, whole structure. But if I ask you to identify the cell here, what should be your answer?
No.
Primary oocyte. Now, primary oocyte and primordial follicle, they're different things. Primordial follicle contains a primary oocyte. Look here, primordial follicle equals primary oocyte. plus follicular cells. So where are the follicular cells? These are the follicular cells. I think I should be able to show you. And let me go to this region here. Here it will be good. Let me see. Here we go. This is good. You can see three primordial follicle, another one. Look at the primary oocyte and look at the follicular cells. These are follicular cells. These are follicular cells. Okay? And here is an early, look. These follicular cells on the periphery, they divide to form the granulosa cells. When you see the multi-layered nature here, then this is no longer a primordial follicle. The whole thing is known as primary follicle. This structure, whole structure, is a primary follicle containing the gamete, which is the primary oocyte, and the granulosa cell. So if I ask you, identify the cell as indicated, what is the name of the cell?
Primary.
No, granulosa cell, just granulosa cell. And this is primary oocyte. What is the name of the cell? Primary oocyte. What is the name of the cell? Follicular cell. Follicular cell. Remember? Okay. If I ask you, is this a follicular cell? No. What is this cell? Fantastic, granulosa cell. Very good. Let's go to a late primary follicle. This one is a good one. Look at this. Beautiful. You can take a picture of this. It's beautiful. So here, the cells. What is the name of the cell? Primary oocyte. What is the name of the cell?
Granulosa cells.
Granulosa cell. Very good. And here, what is this structure? Theca folliculi. I don't know if it is there. Theca folliculi is there in the study guide. If it is not there, I may ask that in bonus.
What is that?
Theca folliculi.
Can you spell that for me?
T-H-E-C-A.
T-A-C?
T-H-E-C-A. Theca, two words. Theca folliculi. F-O-L-L-I C-U-L-I.
Which part is that?
The protective structure, this structure around the primary follicle is called theca folliculi. But I don't think that I have that in the study guide.
You don't.
Okay, but I talked about it, isn't it?
What's
I
the,
sh-
is the whole thing a
Theca folliculi is a structure surrounding the whole structure.
And then it's the
Granulosa cells.
Right.
Granulosa cells
And then
and primary oocyte. These granulosa cells and primary oocyte together, they form primary follicle. Okay? Now let us look at secondary follicle. There you go. This is not the highest magnification. It can be magnified more. What is the name of this structure? What?
Granulosa cells?
Of course these are granular cells, but what is the name of the structure?
Primary.
No, I told you it looks like a crown.
Oh,
Corona radiator. This is
So it's not a
corona.
follicle?
Mm-mm.
No, this whole structure is a follicle.
Oh.
Secondary follicle. And secondary follicle has this huge space. Can you see that space? This is called antrum. But these cells are granulosa cells. Now let me go to in lowest magnification and explain something. If this be a Graafian follicle, then the gamete or the female gamete is called the secondary oocyte. Now this is ready to be ovulated. When ovulation occurs, that means it has to rupture, and there will be some blood clots. And imagine this is not there, this is over here. Okay? Then these cells, granulosa cells, they rapidly divide, fill in this space, forming a solid structure. These cells are called luteal cells, and the structure is called corpus luteum. Look here, this is a corpus luteum, this huge structure. Can you see this? Huge structure. The whole structure.
It looks like there's fibers in it. Mm-hmm.
These are the luteal cells, and these are the hormone secreting cells. This is the corpus luteum. There is another corpus luteum. Look here. This is another corpus luteum. Here is another corpus luteum. And we can see in this ovary 3 fully formed corpora lutea. Corpus luteum is a singular, corpora lutea plural. Now can you tell me why? Why we find more than one? We find 3 in this ovary. You have to consider that this has come from cat, and cat is a multiple breeder. In a litter there are, say, 6 to 8 kittens or 4 to 8 kittens. Each corpus luteum will represent 1, isn't it? From one secondary follicle, the corpus luteum results from that ruptured follicle. Okay? Now, after this cycle, this will degenerate, isn't it? Now, how does a degenerating corpus luteum look like? It's here. It's everything recorded. There is one. Can you see this one? This whole structure here is a degenerating corpus luteum. Degenerating corpus luteum. A corpus luteum that is degenerating or that is undergoing degeneration. Now, degenerating corpus luteum ultimately will become a corpus albicans, isn't it? We already know that. How does it look like? I'll show you. This is a corpus albicans. is the corpus albicans. Let us survey this one. Oh, by the way, what is this? What is this whole structure called? This whole structure? There you go, secondary follicle. Why? Because you see the antrum. You see the antrum.
Oh.
Also you can see what?
Granulosa.
These are granular cells forming, these are granular cells also. These granular cells formed corona radiata. You get that? This structure. If I ask you, don't get confused when you are being asked a question. What is the name of the structure as indicated by the pointer? If a pointer is placed here, you have to write corona radiata. Do you get that?
Mm-hmm.
If I ask you what is the name of the cell, granulosa cell. Do you get that? So do you know the difference? Structure. I have to use the pointer and it may point to a cell. Even if it points to a cell, if the question is the structure, for structure, you need to write that down, not the cell. Okay?
So is the big thing a secondary oocyte?
Which one?
The big,
That one? That one
No,
we
the
do not
ones-
do. This is a primary oocyte.
Oh,
For sure.
but the whole
Definitely,
thing-
this is not a very large follicle.
Oh, that's.
This is a secondary follicle, the big, this thing. But this one is the primary oocyte. This is the gamete, potential female gamete. But is protected by or surrounded by granulosa cells forming the corona radiata.
Oh.
You got that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let us look at another corpus luteum, corpus albicans, if there is one. Yeah, this is one corpus albicans, this one. Corpus albicans. This is one degenerating corpus luteum. I saw, here is one corpus albicans. And here is one degenerating corpus luteum.
What about the corpus
Hemorrhagicum?
Yeah.
Corpus hemorrhagicum is a ruptured follicle. I cannot show you here, it's not there.
Okay.
When there is ovulation, if you go to the diagram number
28.18.
2813.
13.
2813. Look at that. Corpus hemorrhagicum.
So for histology wise, we wouldn't be able to identify.
No, you may, if I want you to identify corpus hemorrhagicum, I have to use the diagram or photograph. Okay? Okay, we are left with only one side now. You can see the antrum, you see the granulosa cells, you can see the corona radiata formed of granulosa cells. This is not a very late secondary follicle, this is an early secondary follicle. And these are primordial follicles. And here is a corpus luteum, this one. Let us look under low magnification, and you can see the whole corpus. This is corpus luteum. This whole structure is corpus luteum. Okay? These are the hormone secreting cells. And corpus luteum secretes all 4 hormones. Progesterone, estrogens, relaxin, and inhibin. But this is the same slide, ovary. I have slide. This is human. This is from human being. Section from the uterus, meaning not from uterus is taken out and the surgery is called hysterectomy. So after hysterectomy, the uterus was used for making slides, and that's why we have these slides with us. This is from human being. This is the uterine cavity or lumen of uterus. Okay? And here is a free surface of the endometrium, the functional layer. Anywhere here, implantation could occur. Anywhere. If you survey this, anywhere on the surface. Do you get that? And if you look there, it will be simple columnar epithelium. This will be simple columnar epithelium. Now, this is very low magnification. And this is a pro-gravid uterus. What is the meaning of gravid? Gravid meaning pregnant. Okay? Pro-gravid meaning before pregnancy.
G-R-A-V.
G-R-A-V-I-D, gravid.
I-D. Okay.
Yeah, gravid. The first pregnancy is called prima gravida. Well, during first pregnancy, when the person, when she goes to an obgyn specialist, the obgyn specialist would write, symptom prima gravida. I know because during the birth, before the birth of our first born, so I took my wife to the specialist. This is endometrium, still endometrium. We are coming down from endometrium we'll go toward perimetrium. Endometrium, still endometrium. Now here, this is the part of endometrium called basal layer or stratum basalis. You see here already smooth muscle cells. This is myometrium. Myometrium, 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 myometrium. There you go. Perimetrium we don't see here. This is myometrium. That forms the bulk of the uterus. And now here is, what is that? Basal layer, stratum basalis. And little here, already you see the uterine glands. And these glands are called endometrial glands. Highly developed, it's almost at the end of the uterine cycle. The endometrium, functional layer is ready to implant or ready for implantation of the fertilized egg of the developing embryo. And this is highly vascularized, this functional layer, that means it's richly supplied with blood vessels. These endometrial glands, they secrete in anticipation of implantation. But when there is no implantation, when there is no pregnancy, what will happen at the end of the post-ovulatory period? The hormonal levels, the levels of estrogens and progesterone will drop. As a result, there will be shrinkage of the blood vessels. The blood vessels will break, and the whole functional layer will be slapped off. That will be eliminated with the menstrual flow. Okay? So what you need to know from here, the functional layer, the basal layer, and the myometrium. So basically you need to identify endometrium and myometrium. If I ask you identify the structure, you can write endometrium. But if I ask you identify the structure, be specific, then you have to write functional layer of endometrium or stratum functionalis. That will do. And this will be stratum basalis or basal layer, and this will be myometrium. Okay, so you have reference points like endometrium and myometrium. If I ask you identify the organ, uterus. Okay, that's it.